Yo, what up? What up? On my X fam, episode number 34. We're back at you again. You didn't think we were gonna miss a week, did you? Because we're not. I'm here with the boys, the usual crew, my homies, man. First and foremost, Faisal Khan, Goofy. How's your week been, bro?
What's going on, Justin? The week's been good. Another week, nothing too crazy or eventful. Just happy to be back for another episode. You know, I always look forward to these Sunday nights. Sometimes it changes now because we're trying to do live streams more often. So we'll see if it stays on Sundays. Maybe we'll start getting into like Saturday streams more often. But it's been good, man. It's been fun.
You look freshly shaven. You know, ready to tackle another week of work. Man's keeping himself on point, groomed up.
Yep.
Good to see you, brother. The other guy joining me is Wes Price. I know he's having an amazing week. The man is in love, chat. So, that's going.
Relax. We're not going there.
How's your week going, man?
It's been good. Working hard. I enjoyed my weekend. Kind of stepped away from gaming for the most part, and it's been good. I missed some Halo action. I know. Kind of been keeping up with Twitter and whatnot, so I know like the results, but I didn't get really to see too much gameplay. And it feels like the first Halo like tournament that I missed probably in years, as far as like the top teams are competing. So a little bit of FOMO from that, but I'm sure actually with the results that maybe I actually helped the team out or two. So
dude,
stepping away could be good for some of them.
You're the last person that should ever have FOMO with all the crap that you're doing. It's like, oh, Wes is casting Esports Arena. Oh, Wes is hanging out doing the watch party for Halo. Like
he's always busy.
You got your hands in everything. So tell me this, Wes. Like, how did it feel, man, to just have a little weekend off? You know, take a break and feel good.
I mean, you snap your fingers and it's over, right? So it felt good. At the same time, it's like, where did it go? It almost didn't even feel like a day passed. But yeah, I mean, I'm excited to get casting. I know I cast Esports Arena next weekend. That'll be a good time. And yeah, I got to catch up on some VOD or whatnot throughout the week, get back to it, be able to tell the stories that were told over the past weekend. But stepping away is always good for a little bit, right?
I feel like I got to jump in on one of those Esports Arena things with you or something at some point,
They're fun.
Good to get
they're good.
Mm-hmm. Good to get some reps in. We actually had a pretty eventful Halo weekend with a lot of stuff going on in the community side of things. We had a draft tournament. We had multiple fundraisers. So I'm going to throw it to Faisal first of all for what you saw. You picked an event you wanted to chat about briefly. But yeah, take it away.
Yeah, so obviously we had the Halo 5 Pro Series $5,000 tournament this weekend. So it was the first event of Season 4. And we're going to get into the details of that. Congratulations on the front end to Cloud9. But we had LVT Productions, Louis V Titan, have an awesome stream like they normally do. And this time it was involved with a really good cause, Gamers for Giving. So LVT Productions, they hosted the stream for Saturday for the 5K and also for today's Halo 3 Pro Series. And, they raised, I think the stream is still going. They're in the grand finals of the Halo 3 tournament. And they're up to almost $4,500 over the course of the weekend. So, and Wes, I know you wanted to talk about, Puckett and the stream he threw. But over the course of the tournaments of the community, we've raised a lot of money for a great cause. So really cool.
Yeah, Puckett also did the Halo 1 tournament.
What a throwback,
Puckett's
dude.
Rockets for Kids.
That was a throwback.
Dude.
Had a bunch of legendary names in there. You're talking Neighbor, Elamite, Dursk, D-Mac, Zyos. But the one and only came out on top, that B. Walshy. So you throw a Halo 1 tournament.
No way, Dave won that thing?
Not a real shocker Dave comes in first for that.
I had no idea that he won that. That's awesome.
They also raised $11,448, so that's just a ton of money. I feel like we always talk about this when the Halo community gets challenged to kind of give back and benefit to a cause. I feel like they always outdo themselves and they always go above and beyond. So once again, Halo, you did great. I'm proud of you. And I hope everybody had a good time watching those tournaments. Like I said, I didn't get to see too much, but I probably will go back and watch the finals. Walshy versus Elamite. When those two go at it, typically there's some good banter. So I'm sure it was a good time for both of them.
Dude, I was cracking up because I was watching Elamite stream after the tournament was over, and I mean I didn't play Halo 1 competitively. I was young, so I just played campaign or whatever. But hearing like the call-outs that the old guys have on those maps is so funny, but like so toxic at the same time. Like they have call outs like, oh, this is the shit spot, like, and like different things like that, like trash spawn, or like, I just
There
thought
was
that
no
was so
filters
funny.
back in 1999 when they were making those call outs. That's for sure.
Yeah, so it's pretty funny. But if you guys don't know about Gamers for Giving, man, I mean, that cause is incredible. I mean, they build carts for kids in hospitals. And I don't know, for me, when I became a dad, stuff that has to do with kids, especially kids in hospitals, like, I'm so much more sensitive to that now. So seeing them, do that cause, and I think overall, you guys said they raised like $740,000 for this cause throughout all these different games, this massive event. Absolutely incredible, man, and a cause that I think we can all get behind. Bringing love and some happiness to those kids. So that was super cool. I know you guys are eager to jump into Halo 5. The Halo 5 Pro Series. But before we do that, Esports Arena did happen today. Did anybody catch the results on that by chance?
I know Frosty's team won. I think it was Frosty, Sparty.
No, Sparty was with KCP. I think it was
Frosty, Stellar, Penguin, and
it was Cloud9 plus Frosty.
Renegade.
I think. Yeah. That's sickening, dude. That team, dude.
That's what's fun about these Esports Arena tournaments too, is that we see a variation of rosters. So we'll see, all these teams that what could have been.
It's like an all-star game.
But
or
even
something.
it's like pickup games. That's a good way to put it, or like Money Eights or something. But all these guys that make these random teams are friends. The pro Halo community. A lot of them are really close. So you wonder, you see some of these rosters and how dominant they are in these tournaments, and you're like, dang, if that was a team, they would be nasty. Or you always.
Renegade and Frosty too. Like everybody's had that thought, right?
Yeah,
like, what would those guys be like together?
But when you're in the pro levels, man, like this high up, and you got like orgs and contracts and stuff involved, it's not as easy as it used to be back in the day. And even back in the day, it's not like
coming from one of the shadiest.
Okay. No, my point is like
it was easy to make the decision on your end.
my point is like now it's like, even if like there's a lot more that goes into making team changes now, because
you can't just can't just drop somebody because they didn't get on for practice or whatnot.
Or
right?
even if that wasn't the case, but like, if the team made like a decision they want to drop someone now, you have to go through like the org, and you have to go through all the contract stuff, and so it's a lot different. So it's fun to see these Esports Arena tournaments and a bunch of beasts getting on one team and just dominating.
Did they even drop a game? Like, that's a team I could see just like sweeping a whole tournament.
I saw like bits and pieces of the stream, but and I didn't see them lose when I was watching, but they may have dropped the game. But it's like, it's such an unfair advantage to play in that atmosphere, because like you got nothing to lose, right? Like when you're playing with like Frosty as your fourth, but like you have everything to gain. You can play just like with the utmost confidence. You can take risks that you would never take. You can kind of like freely play without any stress. Like
get more creative.
When it's your team, like you cannot be dropping games. Like if you're Cloud9 or whatnot,
a little bit more pressure.
It's so much more aggravating. You're so much more easily tilted if like your team is losing. But if you have a sub, it's like, well, we lost, we had a sub, whatever. We just haven't gone over stuff, whatever it might be, right?
Yeah, no, for sure. There was one other Halo event that I know of. I mean, there could have been other stuff going on, but the other Halo event that I saw actually participated in this week was the Penn Halo draft tournament. So shout out to those guys. I mean, they run a super smooth tournament, super smooth production. And the team that won that, interesting enough, was a team that, had kind of like middle draft picks. So it was Haynes, Snarky Brownie, Godly Shots, and Padawan. So congrats to those guys. They swept the finals. I'm pretty sure they swept the whole tournament.
That's a squad.
Yeah.
What's your thoughts on the format of this thing, the snake draft?
I mean, yeah. I mean, it's my first time playing in one of these. I think.
What was your squad? Who was your squad?
It was myself, Jolner, JT the Bear Cub, and Only Fear AB. My boy Alex.
Were you able to lead the troops, or what happened?
I mean, I did my best.
So
we lost a game 5 to employees team. That's all I'll say. We lost.
Was it a close game 5? What was the score?
It was 50-45, and I
sounds like it was an ice distance. Like, it sounds like it was enough room. It was close enough for someone to ice up. I don't know.
I mean, I went 21 and 11.
I don't
know.
I mean,
I don't know
sometimes
what more
maybe
you want from the guy.
Piece,
I needed 25 chicken nuggies instead of 21.
Sometimes you gotta drop 25.
Here's the thing. Like, in all like I was working with the captain on like making draft picks, and I wanted to pick players that I knew like listened and had good communication over people that I knew had guns. The only problem with doing that is we literally lost every single Slayer game the entire tournament. We did
So
not
what
win.
you're telling me is that you handpicked your team.
We didn't win any Slayers. Still
That
caught
sounds
that
like
out,
what it's
man.
saying.
It's been a weekend for me, man. I mean, I don't know what else to tell you, bro. It's
Wait,
rough time.
let's talk about it. What's
It's
up? You were
rough-
talking even before the stream. You're like, man, you just came in kind of, buzz killed, and you feel like you were. It sounded like you were just getting over. Like, oh, same old stuff.
There's good news
I
and
got
there's
a
bad
couple
news,
extra
right?
backpacks if you need to borrow one.
I mean, there's good news and there's bad news, right? The good news is the third place curse has been broken, right? We have finally broken through the third place curse. The
I don't
bad
think
news
it
is
counts if you
If you don't even get third, I don't think
the
that
bad
counts.
news is we got fourth, right? So trying to see it glass half full. I mean, this week we kind of just didn't play and kind of came in nonchalant. You could tell like we were kind of not really feeling like playing, which I mean we've been doing these for so long, every week with the same team, losing to the same team every single week, and so we were kind of like chilling, but still came out and we had our moments, but plays weren't made when they needed to be made, and we ended up falling and getting fourth. So I know a lot of folks would be stoked to get fourth, but you guys know how it is when you've like tasted the win, when you've tasted better, it just sucks. Anything but that sucks.
And like I know it's all at this point, you're playing Halo 3 in 2021. It's for the passion of it, but you don't even get any money unless you get first or second. So you dedicate a whole day, and for you it's different because you're streaming, so it's like good for content and everything. But playing a whole day and then not even getting first or second and making any money, it's like, dude,
yeah,
it is a little bit disheartening.
Yeah, I mean the streams have been amazing. That's one thing that I can say has been rad. The streams every week for these tournaments have been off the chain for me, and seeing crazy viewership numbers. But as a competitor,
viewership numbers. All right.
I mean, anytime I get over 200 viewers, I'm stoked. To be honest,
I mean,
in a 15-year-old game, dude, like or however old it is, it's like anytime we break that 200 viewer mark, I'm pretty pumped. And
is that with or without a host?
Without hosts, just throughout the tournament.
Damn.
Like when it gets down to like towards the end, the later rounds, and we're the only people playing matches, everyone kind of comes over.
True.
And so it's been cool, man, like every week to see those kinds of numbers. But I mean, this, Faisal, like as a competitor, like none of that matters when you're losing, like or winning. Sure. Like it's so much
and
more.
And to your point too, like those top two teams they're strong, so
they're
it's
so good.
You can make a squad and you can put up a fight. You could push them to game 5. For example, today we saw Ryan Noob's team go to game 5 with Zerka's roster, but I mean they're definitely by far the two best teams right now that play in those Halo 3 tournaments. So
and even then it looks like Ryan and them are kind of separating themselves. They just won, by the way. I have it pulled up. So I
think
just
it's a
won
week by
3-1,
week thing because just last week we saw Sentinels win or what do they go by? They don't play as Sentinels. They play H3 team.
H3 team.
So it's Halo 3 and it's a lot of momentum based stuff. So even I think they're gonna keep going back and forth. But
the challenging thing for like me personally, like, is playing through like the gap I think between those two teams and then us and then everybody else. I'm not saying us with them. I'm saying the gap between them and us. And then the gap between us and everybody else is so wide that it's like I get shell shocked every single time I go from playing whoever, and then all of a sudden I'm playing Ryan the very next round and their squad. The pace of the game is different.
Omega and them in the mix, right?
Rent free.
Yeah. I mean,
free in your head.
The pace and all that stuff is like a process. But
what do you think about all those, Wes? What do you got to say, man?
Ryan was rent free in too many people's heads. I never had a problem with the kid.
So are we hearing Wes say that if he was playing, he would be knocking out Ryan Noob? Is that what you're saying?
I mean, if I play consistently, then yeah. Like, I would expect myself to beat Ryan Noob. Like, when I did play consistently, I expected myself to beat Ryan Noob.
So what's the deal? You've been grinding a lot of Valorant these days, so
I'm on my Valorant.
He's playing a lot of Halo, just not a Halo game we can see.
I'm happy in
right?
the world that I'm in, all right?
There you go. Yeah, a fun side note, though. Last weekend, I mean, we haven't had a show since. Last weekend, we commonly had to run for a family emergency, and Faisal actually jumped in with us. So it was fun.
I did see that.
Fun to get some reps in with the boy Faisal. Did you have a good time? I kind of put you on the spot.
I'm
I was like, dude.
just saying. I just hopped in after who knows how long, a couple games in, and I was right where I left off. So
we iced up some game 5s. We had a good time.
Yeah, no, we did. And
I gotta stop losing these game 5s. What's going on here?
No, I said we iced up game 5.
Oh, okay. I was about to say.
Yeah.
And it was actually pretty close. And I made you will talk about it. We'll talk about it later. But we made some plays, and I patted myself on the back for how we won that game 5 on Construct. I had a couple kills that cleared up top mid for us. But that was fun. Yeah, I hopped in for a little bit and got a taste of what I was doing for a long time, obviously playing in the H3 Pro Series. But I want to talk about this Halo 5 Pro Series, man. We've been beating around the bush. We've been in the show for a while now. We haven't even talked about it. We have a brand new champion in the world of Halo, and they go by the name of Cloud9, finally getting their first victory in the Halo 5 Pro Series. Looking at the bracket right here, Cloud9 came out, and honestly, to be honest, I did predict them to get a win going into the Season 4 opener of the Pro Series, of like the Pro bracket. And they had some good matches. They went to game 5 a couple of times, I think, throughout the tournament, but ultimately they iced up. And I think it's not going to be their only win in Season 4. I think they're going to win. They might even win back. They're going to be my choice, favorite again going into the next tournament to win, because now that they've won once, their roster is stacked. I really don't think, any other. I think on paper they have. It's hard for me to say because you have Frosty and Snakebite and everyone, but really, I think they have the most well-rounded and best team on paper, and they came out and won. And we saw Inconceivable in the finals again, so the same finals matchup, but this time Cloud9 taking the win. And then again, Sentinels not even getting to the finals. And maybe we got to talk about what's going on there with Trippy, him filling that role for Lethal. We saw Neptune do it pretty successfully, and even Trippy had. They were still
trading tournaments.
Yeah, now it seems like it doesn't. I don't know. It seems like a little bit different now.
They're capable of winning, but it's just so much harder, right?
And then KCP is still that that underdog that always has a puncher's fight or puncher's chance.
But
they're
so you're saying it's harder? Are you saying it's harder for them to win with Trippy, or it's harder because of the other teams? You said it's so much harder.
They don't have Lethal.
Yeah. Anything but him is going to be hard, right?
You know who Lethal is?
Yeah, one of the best to ever do it. Obviously, I think. I wanted to bring up Cloud9. Obviously, they won. Because not only did they win, to me it was the way they won. I mean, they came from the lower bracket, but they dominated the finals. I mean, against Inconceivable, they slept them in the first series, and then they beat them 3-1 in the reset series.
That's pretty savage.
And they went on a tear. I mean, they lost.
They're fucking nasty.
Yeah, they lost to Sentinels in winners, but then through losers, that Cloud9 team just freaking found their footing. I watched a good amount of it, especially the finals. I had my son on my lap, and we had a good old time just hanging out and watching it.
Baby JJ.
Absolutely. The difference maker,
Baby J.
The thing that I saw that really, really, really stood out to me, and everybody that's watched that broadcast would know this, is, dude, the way Penguin was playing was unbelievable. Unreal. Playing out of his absolute freaking mind. And then you have players like Renegade who are always going to be doing it, right? But then to see Penguin elevate himself to that, he was playing at that same level, made them so much better. It's kind of similar to the Inconceivable team where we saw, 2 weeks ago when Boo Boo Doo Boo elevated his game, how unstoppable they became. Well, it was the similar situation with Cloud9, but Penguin was just popping off. So I got to give props to Zane, and obviously, he's been putting in the work and the practice. So it feels good for them to finally get that win. I feel like Wes and I have been predicting them to win or hoping they would win forever. And then the one time we're not looking at the tournament time, they pulled out. So I don't know, man. Faisal thinks that he was the lucky charm, though, that he called this tournament this time around. But
no one's buying that.
No, I didn't. It wasn't even that serious. Saying I claimed it I was proud of it. I did say that I called it, but I wasn't flaunting it. Just
own it, man.
I can't even congratulate them because it took them this long. I don't even want to say good job to Kevin. This is literally your job.
It would be interesting to see, if how dominant of a season 4 they can have. Imagine they win this 5K, the next 5K, and then they win the the 10K or something. That would be making a statement.
Now we're talking.
And I think they're capable of that. I really do. I think they've always been kind of like the sleeping giant in the Pro Series, where it's almost like they beat themselves a lot of the times, and the team, even though they're great teams, they the Sentinels and the Inconceivables, it almost seemed like Cloud9 would always beat themselves in the first 3 series. And
that's what Hooks was saying.
I don't know.
Right?
I think they're a sleeping giant now that they won and they've kind of gotten that monkey off their back. They can continue that dominance. So that's what I expect out of these guys.
Yeah, I didn't see the games, but recently, every time I've watched them play, I've been very happy with what I've seen from them. I think they are hitting their stride right now as a team, right? I think that they are comfortable with each other now, and they're all on the same page. They're playing very, very well, obviously. To me, it's always going to come down to like these top 4 teams, and to Hunter's point, it's who individually is making plays. Is it Booba Doobu? Is it Frosty? Is it Zane? Is it Bound? Like, who's it going to be? Who's going to step up and make a play today? And that's like how Halo should be, in my opinion. Like, it reminds you of like back typically in like the Reach days when there was like 6 or 7 teams that could have won, but it was this is the Blaze tournament is what we refer to.
Oh my gosh!
Right?
Yeah. The
like,
anomalies.
This is Enable's tournament. He took over. It's like to win a tournament, you got to kind of take over as an individual, and it's like there's so many players that are good enough to do it. It's just who's gonna step up, who's gonna be that guy, who's gonna make the difference for them and their team. Last week it was last ACS it was Boobadubu. This time it sounds like it was Zane. It's obviously you have a better chance when your team's like you, Eco, Renegade, and Penguin, right? And Stellar. Like those guys can all step up and take over a game at any point in time. That's why that Tox roster was so good, is because those 4 guys, at any moment in time, Lethal can take over. He'll drop 20-something minutes Slayer. Rossi, Snakebite, Roll 2, I mean, you know the names. Like, I think you have to have those kind of playmakers on your team if you want to be able to consistently find yourself in a finals, even trying to hold up the trophy at the end of the day.
Yeah, I think so. For me, one of the things I noticed was it's hard to put like a word on it, and maybe Wes or Faisal, you guys have a better idea of how to describe this. But when I was watching them play, especially when they would go to like Renegade screen, it looked like the fun was back in his game. Like, do you remember in that Splice run in 2018 where like it looked like he would just do whatever he wanted to do? He's just like spinning around, thrusting 360, and he's like world starring people and like doing plays where you're just like, this doesn't make any sense, and then not missing a single bullet and doing whatever. Like, that's like the gameplay that they were playing, and that's what I think makes them so scary. It's like they play this like no fear almost style of Halo 5 when they're like on point, where they know that it's going to work out for them. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
Renegade's an anomaly.
It's crazy.
He's one of the most confident players. Like he genuinely thinks, and rightfully so, he thinks he's the best player, hands down. And
he honestly, you go.
No, I was just gonna say, and it's warranted for them to kind of feel that way and to have no doubt that they can be the best team, because, like you said, on Splice they were. No one thought anyone would come in and take that crown away from Tox or Sentinels, and they snatched it and kept it for a while and really let it go. It seemed like almost on their own accord, right? Like we obviously, they Tox came back and started beating them again, but that there was a lot of stuff, but really, these guys know how dominant they can be, so they deserve to have that kind of confidence.
Yeah, this was the closest glimpse to that I think I've seen. Sorry, Wes, go ahead.
No, you're good. Yeah, Renegade's such an anomaly to me. He like reminds me of, I coached him when I coached Straight Rippin' one time. It was like Ace, Hines, Renegade, and APG.
Was it APG?
APG.
Yeah. And we had some fun on that team. And I remember like watching Renegade screen. I'm just like, how did these situations work out in your favor every time? And it honestly reminds me of like Demon D. Like, and that's not an insult to Renegade. I think Renegade's probably overall like a better Demon D, like a much better. But like power weapon hungry, confidence is, you can't get more confident than those 2 guys, right? Like those guys are like confident to a fault, but Renegade, they make it work. I think that's something. It's hard to learn confidence, right? I think you can watch Renegade screen, and when you're trying to like improve your own individual gameplay, for those of you out there that like want to get better and watch Renegade, you just have to really trust the process, the amount of practice that you put yourself in. You have to like trust yourself to hit the shots, because a lot of people like just like understand that they're in a terrible situation. They'll try and get out of it instead of like like you got to shoot the ridiculous shot to hit the ridiculous shot, right? Like it's kind of like that mindset.
I mean, a good offense, right, will always trump anything else if you're able to pop like that. I mean, I was watching this dude like, and we've all seen it, like thrust sliding into bases where there's multiple people. He knows there's multiple people there, and like cleaning up one guy, killing the other guy, like, and somehow making it work. And you're just like, man, he knew going into that situation that there were multiple people there, and it was basically just him.
Yeah.
And that was enough for him. You know what I mean? Like, and that was
Yeah.
fine. Like, that's just insane, man. I mean, you can't teach that. I think you cannot teach that level of confidence. I think it's
He
something
trusts his
like,
gameplay.
Yeah,
and it speaks volumes when you watch it.
yeah. It was pretty interesting. I mean, Cloud9, they went to a game 5 with Sentinels in the losers bracket finals. But then once they got to the finals, like I said, they were just rolling. Unbelievable. You know, we also saw the Inconceivable Sentinels rematch again, and I mean, it wasn't pretty. Again, Inconceivable 3-0'd Sentinels in the winners bracket and dropped them down. It kind of just feels like Inconceivable. I have no idea what we're going to get every week at this point now. We've had 2 pretty killer weeks. I mean, we can say maybe they got ice this week, whatever, but they won the winners finals. They put themselves in a position to win this tournament as well. And for a team that we were kind of just counting out not too long ago, it's definitely cool to see them step back up and remind us just how talented they are.
Yeah, Inconceivable. You know, they were consistent throughout a lot of these Halo tournaments. Only recently in season 3, that was really only their stint for an extended time where they weren't doing well. And even still, they were getting top 4, similar to Sentinels the past couple tournaments. They're not doing well, but they're getting top 4. So I think, and we've seen Cloud9 kind of be in that funk. We've seen Sentinels, KC, all 4 of the top 4 teams have been in that funk where they didn't make the finals for a couple tournaments in a row. So that is refreshing to see that we have this, you know, the rotation of champions rather than just one team every single week or every single tournament winning, whether that's Cloud9 or that's Sentinels. It doesn't seem like any one team could hold that crown for too long before another champion is there. So I don't know. I think it's fun and refreshing because Halo 5 typically hasn't been like that historically. There was like one team that held the title for a long time. So I don't know. I like that.
Yeah, I think, I mean, we've seen all 4 of the top 4 teams win, right? I am going to go ahead and go on a limb and kind of call out KCP a little bit. I'm going to need a little vibe check on there. I've been seeing a lot of like weird crap, to be honest. I've seen Soul Snipe tweet that he's quitting the game and
wait, what?
This and that, and like, you know, and then he's back the next day, and like,
when did he tweet that?
It was like maybe a week ago or something, you know, just like some random stuff like that. And it's just like, dude, that inner turmoil, you can kind of see like this is where your younger talent gets tested, right? They had that taste of winning, and then after losing, now it's like they've had some frustrating moments. Having been there, done that, can you offer any advice from afar, Wes, on, you know, bouncing back mentally, what it's going to take for this team?
Get a grip. It's tough. Yeah, I got nothing for them, honestly. Like that's something they got to figure out themselves, how to get out of this slump. Like everybody gets out of slumps different. Sometimes
maybe it's not even a slump. Maybe it's just, I mean, they're playing against some tough competition, man. I don't know if they can,
but you can't be, if you're a player, you cannot be in the mindset of maybe it's not a slump. Like that is,
you gotta blame the slump.
If it's not a slump, you are.
There's bigger problems.
Yeah.
I mean,
now,
they were like,
we're having a different conversation, right?
They were like shooting bodies
to your point,
and getting steamrolled by Cloud9. You know, it's
do
like.
Do y'all think any players from that team is gonna get like potion stuff going in Infinite, or do you think they're gonna stick it out?
I'm gonna say I've seen it happen too many times. I mean, Wes, you saw it with Cloud. Like, you can't say no to money. Like, if money comes knocking, who knows what's gonna happen? You know what I mean? Like, if you got a team with an established org that's going to shell out for one of these guys.
I wonder who would be the first one to get asked on that team. Probably Talik.
I don't think that team's staying the same if they continue to perform like they have the past couple of weeks, though. I'll say that. I think that, like, typically once you have success and then you fall, that rosters don't stay the same for very long, even with contracts and everything. You figure it out. And I'm not saying I have no idea who's underperforming, what's going on with them. I know Soul Snipe's played pretty well every time I've seen the screen.
Yeah.
I kind of.
Who do you think the best player is on KCP?
Got to be Drucker, Soul Snipe.
What? I think it's Talik.
I think it's Soul Snipe.
I think it's either Druck or Soul Snipe in my opinion.
I gotta see more of everybody though.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. We all have very
I mean, Talik is a great leader. Talik is a great leader. He's a great player, but Talik to me is not like one of those guys. Like he's not in that group. Like Manny, Soul Snipe, and Druck, as far as I know, were like homies, and they have like a very tight knit, like kind of clique circle with like Case and all the rest of those guys. Talik was like he was teaming with like Envor and Super CC. Like that's his crew. Like that's who he kind of came up with. So he's kind of always been the odd man out to me. And I feel like even in game, it's kind of interesting, like that dynamic where it's like 3 really tight dudes and then Talik.
Who do you think is the most skilled player on the team? You think?
I think it's either Druck or Soul Snipe.
Interesting.
Yeah. I mean, they're both nasty. I mean, Druck had that goose, which sucks. But prior to that, I mean, he's been there. X Factor.
Irrelevant. I've watched Roy Goose before.
Yeah.
Like,
I'm curious. I mean, we obviously saw Flyers come into the top 6. Another team that kind of shot out was Ambush.
I was gonna say, like, we got to also talk about Ambush.
Mm-hmm.
These guys I think they're a really solid and capable roster. We got Arctic, Ace, Sab, and Spartan. So hard to the cards playing, and we had Ace on the show, and he said that's gonna. We actually should talk about that. We had Ace on the show last episode. And we asked him about his team going into Infinite. He's like, as far as I know, this is our team. And obviously, he's playing with Spartan, who we thought that he was teaming with Rain and Ryan Noob and King Nick. So maybe that's a little bit of actually, I mean, really is. It is some team drama and some information that Ace did openly tell us. And to be completely honest, it was the first I was hearing it when I heard it from him. Yeah. And I think it was the same for you, Justin, probably Wes as well. I don't know if Ryan and them, they like to keep stuff under wraps. You don't really ever see those guys on social media. Like we don't really know what all they're, what they're thinking going into Infinite. And I don't think Spartan has tweeted it publicly yet either. But for, not to beat around the bush, Ambush, these guys came in, they won that open tournament to start the season 4 off. And they came into this event and they caused some problems. They took some teams to game 5. They ended up getting 5th, 6th, and I think they very well could break into that. I genuinely think that. I think I have more faith in that roster breaking into the top 4 than I did with like a Flyers trying to get into the top. Not to take anything away from Flyers, but I genuinely think, and when I look at this roster, I think Arctic is nasty. I think Sab is really, really good too. Spartan, I think, is obviously he's proven how good he is, and Ace it's Ace. Like he's always going to be solid. So I genuinely think this team has some potential to break into the top 4. I think I'm going to go out on a limb and say that if they stick together, they will make it into the top 4 in one of these tournaments.
I think we got to talk about the Ace thing. I mean, here's my perspective on it, and then Wes, I'm going to let you go. Let me know if you agree or disagree. But, when you're like trying to make moves, how it's kind of like wishful thinking, you like speak it, before it happens. Like, Aaron wants to team with Sparty and have that squad going in Infinite. Like he wants that to happen, and they've been having some success. And so he's like, kind of planting the seeds there of like, hey, like, let's make this thing happen. We just won, and we're doing pretty well.
You're assuming that Aaron, Arctic, and Sab are like, maybe some stuff went on with Spartan and his team, and now he's really needing the team, and he's hitting up these guys and trying to get on their team.
I would say the other. I would go.
I don't know.
I don't think that's the case. I think Aaron's just really wanting to like speak that into existence. That's my perspective. Go ahead, Wes. I'll let you go.
I don't think Spartan's leaving a team, the previous team, for this team unless he was dropped, right? Like I don't think he's like, if he's deciding between the two, I don't think he's doing that.
Agreed.
Y'all call it.
Well.
You referenced what they've done so far as success. This 6 is not a success.
Well, in the first event, like they won the Open Cup, and then they almost beat some of these teams to get into the top 4. I don't think that's successful. I think you can look at that and say, hey, right? I think they probably could get top 4 pretty soon.
Well, look at who we're talking about, and then say they won the Open Cup with a straight face is like an achievement.
But do you agree that the way they took these teams to game 5, you could potentially see them break into the top 4? They almost did it.
They can beat Kansas City. I don't think they beat the other teams. I don't think they would. I don't think they can beat them in series. I mean, best of 5s. I always used to say anybody can win a best of 5, right? So the potential's there. I'm not gonna rule it out, but like they are definitely a 5th, 6th team right now. Potentially can maybe win a series against some of these teams if Sparty and if they're all playing pretty well, right?
Yeah, they
They
took
all gotta be playing
Inconceivable
pretty
to
well.
Game 5 as well in the upper
I hear you.
bracket.
Yeah.
Like I don't think that Sparty views that as success. I don't think that Aaron views that as success. I mean, they're on the right page. Like they're definitely on the right journey. But like so many times, people are on the right journey to success and don't find the end point. Right? Success would have been a top 4 finish where they upset one of those top 4 teams, and now they're
True.
like
Yeah.
now they're like, all right, let's practice and let's try and win one of these things because Sparty and Aaron won the last LAN event. Like top 6 is not something they're interested in. Like it shouldn't be. Like Sparty should not be satisfied or happy he got top 6. Aaron, same way. Like Sab is pretty good too. I know Arctic hasn't got great placements, but to your point, like those guys are all good players. Don't get me wrong. Like that's why I think they can potentially upset maybe like a KCP or whoever. But
until they do it, then you can't say like, yeah.
I don't know, man. Like I feel like they kind of should be encouraged though, because like if you look at Sparty and Ace, it was like not even a couple of months ago they were like not even making top 8, not making the pro qualifiers, which is obviously unacceptable for those guys. And so to kind of get a start, back in the top 6, like that's a start. It's not a dub necessarily, but it's like they're on the right track. They're trending the right way.
If you're a competitor, then and you are as good as those guys are, then your mental game should be stronger than like 5th, 6th is like a good thing. Because those guys have been there, done that. Ace is a global champion, multi-time tournament winner. Like Sparty's won on LAN, top 4 countless times. Like those guys, I don't know if their confidence faded over the past year. Like, but that's what would have had to have transpired for them to have the mentality that you're kind of speaking with, right?
Yeah, but it's also tough. Like it's tough to just put together a team and try to get top 4 or win one of these things when the top 4 teams that are consistently getting that placing are so solidified. Like it's Ace is really good and Spartan's really good, but like who else is? They got to just make do with everyone that's outside of that initial 16 players. So it's
it was really tough. It was really tough to put BTH together. It was really tough to like put Warriors together, right? Like figure it out. That's your job. You are a Halo
but that's
pro.
what I'm saying. Like they just put this team together, and then they almost be a team that's been together for so long. They just put this team together. They took Inconceivable to Game 5. They took. So I think in that sense, So I agree that because they're such a talented roster, it's not successful unless they get like top 4 or maybe even try to make it to a finals. But to Justin's point as well, it is encouraging, and I think as soon as in the next 2 weeks when we have the next 5K, I think they could be in the top 4 if they're playing good, and that's successful, I think, to me, because that the original 4 teams is so so stamped into that top bracket, so it's hard to see anyone else kind of squeeze in there.
I don't know, man. I think you got to mention Flyers still in that conversation. They went to Game 5 as well.
Sleep if we have to talk about Flyers.
We don't have to talk about them, but I'm saying they went to Game 5 with Cloud9 and winners as well. So, we've seen, the door's cracked. Whatever, dude.
The thing about Flyers is like Ambush could turn into that. It's just because they're new. I'm like, oh,
exactly.
They almost did it. Flyers, like they've already been in that almost area for so long. To West, like I almost side with West in the sense we're like, all right, yeah, they're almost gonna do it, but they've been almost doing it for so long. Whereas Ambush just came into the picture, so they're kind of more exciting to me in that.
Kind of reminds me of that Flyers Halo 3 team. Those guys have just been almost in it forever too.
It's the same like concept as like me watching Cloud9 win a tournament this time around. Like I'm not congratulating you guys. It's long overdue. Like it's your damn job.
I feel you. I
like Flyers. I'm not like they're no longer the dark horse. Like you guys have been dark horses 12 times. Like
now it's like you are the 5th, 6th team. Like that's
if you get top 4, congratulations. It's about time.
Yeah, I can get behind that. I think we do have one team left in the top 4. We do need to talk about. I want to talk about Sentinels briefly. I mean, they kind of got blown out again by Inconceivable. Two tournaments in a row now getting swept by them, and then obviously getting third, which is unacceptable for those guys and their pedigree and their in their heads. I'm not going to ask if we're worried about them. We've done those stupid topics before. I just want to get a general vibe check. Faisal, what are you kind of seeing from the Sentinels team? Do you think they're lacking in anything, with the last couple of performances? Like, what's on your mind?
I'm going to keep it short and sweet. Episode, what episode is this?
34.
Which one is this?
34.
34.
34.
It's the Shaq
Episode
episode.
34. We've been going for a while, but I'm going to keep it short and sweet. I just think Sentinels isn't the same team without Lethal. So that's why they're not going to be dominant like we expect them to be. They're going to win. They might win one. They might lose 2 in a row. Then they might win 2 in a row. Then they might not even make top 2 in the next 2. Like, they're just going to be up and down like that. And that's expected, whether they put in practice or kind of stay at the level they've been going at. I think that's what we're going to see out of them. If any team can have an extended, so I can just make like a bold prediction, even though if I probably wouldn't put too much money on it. But if there is any team, like I think Cloud9 maybe they just won this 5K. I could see them winning the next one, and then maybe they win like the 10K. Like Cloud9 could do that, and I think it's realistic to say that. Sentinels, I don't see them winning the next one and then winning the 10K right after that. I just think they don't have that consistency without their full team. And then KCP, we talked about them already, same with Inconceivable. So to keep it short and sweet, I think without Lethal, they're not the same team. So nothing too crazy, nothing to freak out. They beat Cloud9 3-0 in the winners bracket. Cloud9 won the tournament, and then they ended up losing to Inconceivable. So they had some success, but not good. They didn't make the finals 2 events in a row now, so they need to step it up for the next one.
What do you think, Wes? You agree? Disagree?
Some of it I agree with, I guess. I think over the past year, since they've gone back to Halo 5 from the previous Halos, and they've been playing, like, Lethal stock is at an all-time high. Like, right? Like, you don't buy Lethal stock right now because it is as high as it could ever get. Because, I mean, like, we talk about, like, Optic, CLG, Tox, Sentinels, that roster, how dominant they were for so long. It's like we forget what kind of an individual that Lethal is, like, in Halo. And it's kind of incredible to, like, step back and look at his resume, because he's made the most money out of anybody, most winning player all time. Like, I don't care about Ogre 2's, like, GameStop lands or whatever he was winning.
Disrespectful.
He knows that. I mess with him. That's an inside joke. All right. Tom won't be mad when he hears that. But that being said, like, we disrespect TJ, I feel like, and have been since probably Halo 5 started, and he, like, was on this team. Like, it's always like the Frosty Roll 2 Snakebite show where, like, these guys are always the ones, like, dropping mad pause bombs and whatnot. Like, watch Lethal POV and tell me that that's not top 5 player in the world. You can't do it. They miss him. It's clear as day. It's no offense to Trippy. Trippy's a good player, but there's only one Lethal, right? Like, Lethal needs to be on that team for that team to have the kind of success that they kind of hold their standards to. And until he's back on that roster, I don't think that they'll be able to reach the bar that they have expected themselves to be able to reach. I don't know if Lethal will come back and play Halo 5. It's kind of late if he does.
I don't think he would either.
There's whispers.
Oh, there's whispers from Clutch himself. There are whispers.
Gosh. The plot thickens.
Oh my God, Trippy! Watch out! There are whispers.
Not like that.
The plot thickens.
In the shadows.
The plot thickens.
You heard it here first.
On my exclusive. Get your exclusive. Get your exclusive.
It's only building frustration right now for Sentinels, right? Because they expect themselves, like, Snakebite goes crazy when he doesn't win. I love that about him, because it's the same thing with me. And I never won, and I went crazy. That's
why I'm crazy right now.
and it does not help with the mental game. But, like, they want to win so bad, but they just don't have the pieces that they are used to having. And it's got to be a frustrating time for everybody on that roster. Roll to Brad and PJ, obviously. So I wouldn't, like they've got to continue to make it through this like mentally, because come Infinite, you want to be confident, right? You want to know that you're the most dominant Halo team in the world going into that. It's obviously a new game. They're gonna have to learn a lot, but like I feel like they're risking so much right now with like their legacy. Like,
Yeah.
and I don't want to say like they're risking their legacy, because we know what these tournaments are for like the players right now. It's like we're buying time, we're waiting, but it's like it's definitely not benefiting them to continue to compete in these things on a weekly basis without their full roster and be able to play the potential Halo that they know that they're capable of playing, right?
I was gonna ask you if you think that these tournaments have the potential to chip away at the way they view themselves. You know what I mean?
No.
I don't think so. Those guys are like, when it comes to confidence, like Roll 2, Frosty, Snakebite, like
Yeah.
those guys are.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, they can always like legitimately say this isn't even their full team, right? So they're
Yeah.
like Wes said, like we don't have to talk about it anymore because Wes broke it down to a T. Like Lethal is irreplaceable for that roster,
Irreplaceable.
and so they, the fact that they're winning some and they're always in the running, like it's it sucks to not win every time like they're used to, but they're still right there. They're still extremely good, but you add on Lethal to the equation and then it changes things.
Yeah, I think no matter who their fourth is, they will always miss Lethal. And like, I think if Lethal started playing Halo 5 tomorrow, it wouldn't even be a couple. Like, it would be only a matter of time before they're just consistently winning again. Period. Like, it wouldn't be surprising. It would just be expected.
Cloud9's getting good though.
You know,
Cloud9
even
was
with
giving them a hard
Lethal,
time.
I genuinely think even with Lethal on their team and both these teams. So if Lethal was on their team and they were playing the H5 Pro Series, I still think Cloud9 would be giving them a run for their money. I do believe that.
Was Lethal in full form?
Yeah, honestly. Especially at this point in the game.
I mean, Cloud9's playing great.
Like I said, Sentinels, when the game first came out in the first few years of Halo 5, this team was really something different.
The gap was just so wide.
Yeah, or I should say when this roster was put together, not when the roster was first put together, they were that first couple of years, they were just way ahead of everyone else.
So boring.
When I coached them, it was an 11-0.
Like you said, if they didn't win 11-0, if they didn't win 10-1, it was a bad scrim if they lost 2 games or 3 games. So they
lost 2 games. I was like shocked.
Yeah, so they were so far ahead, but that's why I say even with Lethal on the team now, that that gap isn't that far. So it's always going to be a little bit, everyone's going to have a bit of a chance. But Lethal, if the whispers are true, and we heard it from Wes, but that would be really exciting. But obviously, nothing is official.
There may not be a meat to the bone, but I know a conversation is taking place.
Oof!
All right.
My goodness.
Well, there you have it.
I don't think it's going to happen soon, but it might happen relatively in the future.
Season 5, we'll see what's announced. We'll see
what's
announced for season 5.
Like Justin said when he was starting the show off, we had it was a good week of Halo. A lot of good stuff went down. A lot of positive vibes. A lot of good things for good causes. Mainly, with the Gamers for Giving stuff. Super, super. Shout out to those guys and thank you for putting together something so amazing. And shout out to the Halo community. We're doing good things. Let's keep it going. Halo Infinite is around the corner. Fall 2021. I cannot wait. Then we can all just start grinding, and y'all can start matching me in matchmaking, and we can all, maybe we can start doing some fun games and stream. I'm sure we're all just going to be addicted to the game when it comes out. So
you're gonna have to get up to my rank.
Yeah,
he's gonna already have the highest rank by the time the game comes out. He's been ranked up this whole time.
I start at level 50 or whatever it is.
Yeah, with that being said, Wes, you want to take us out of here, my man?
Yeah, absolutely. Guys, you can find all the socials and the information below.
Subscribe.
Check that out.
Leave a comment.
I think we're at 699 subs.
Like, whatever it is. You know what to do. Just promote it. Appreciate all the love that we always get you guys. We've had some good feedback on all our videos. Any feedback you guys want to give, any topics, whatever, any special guests you guys want to see on, please comment below. We always read them. We always try and fulfill whatever is asked and go the extra mile in that direction. We want to produce this content for you guys. We're going episode 34. We're going home.
Peace.